Three. Welcome to the Feed for Speed podcast, and I'm owner and host Don Weatherax, and owner of Sports Nutrition to Go, where our mission is to build a better athlete by optimizing every stage of growth, health, and athleticism through sports nutrition that best fits the athlete. Today, my guest is an awesome soccer athlete, Joshua Head, and I am very fortunate for him to be on our podcast today. Welcome, Josh.
Hello.
I love it. So before we get going, I always say this, but just to confirm, Joshua, you are here on your own free will, and there is no conflicts of interest, nor am me or my company is paying you for this podcast today.
Yes, ma'am. This is all on my own.
I love it. So you can tell he's a little bit more Southern. Yes, ma'am. I absolutely love it. Okay, so Joshua, we've only known each other for less than a year. Would you tell the audience a little bit about your background? What obviously in it will say soccer, but just kind of share your background, because you are with FC Academy, and I'm not sure if people really understand what that means for, like in soccer, maybe the people who follow soccer very well, but just somebody might be listening. What in the world does FC Academy mean to the listeners out there?
Well, I've been playing, I didn't actually used to like soccer. Whenever I was a little kid, about 7 or 8, I really liked basketball and football, and that's what I wanted to play, but I couldn't find a team to play with for basketball. And my mom wouldn't let me play football because I was just a reckless kid, had a lot of head injuries and all that stuff. So one day my dad just signed me up for rec league soccer at 8 years old and just said, "You're too athletic to not be playing a sport." So I just played a sport, and I kind of liked it. I kind of liked that I was pretty good at it. And then I just went and ran with it.
And
trained every day.
Yeah. So what do you have to do to be at FC Academy? What does that mean?
It means basically just like you're a mini pro. Like academies are just making you a pro, and like the sooner you can become a pro, the sooner you act like one, the sooner you'll become one. And what I mean is, like, the sooner you wake up, train every day, eat right, just do all the things a pro would do, like a normal, like just act like a grown adult, don't mess, like live by your means, don't do too much, just do everything like perfectly, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
Like, when I don't know, when you go to an academy, it's you better, like, I don't know how to explain it, like,
you have to be obviously talented.
Your heart's gotta be like in it, you can't have one foot in, one foot out, it's gonna take a lot of commitment, a lot of it, just like being a pro would, this is basically just shaping you to be a pro. And that's why they have these academies and stuff, is to get your mindset developed and say, hey, look, this isn't as far away as you think. You could be a pro tomorrow if you really keep pushing yourself. So you never know.
Yeah, so that just leads me to, how in the world did you get in my path? I mean, you've been playing, but what brought you into my doors at Sports Nutrition to Go?
Well, I had torn my meniscus and I was feeling pretty crappy. I feel like God did this to me to reset my mindset, reset how I think. I thought I was doing everything perfect. I thought all you had to do was just work hard. So that's all I've been doing since I was 8, is just going to my garage, working hard, going to the gym, working hard, just really every day. And then I would think I was doing way too much. I was working out 3 times a day and then going to practice, and I was just doing a lot, and I wasn't eating right. And I realized that too. Like, I was working hard, but I was working too hard and I wasn't eating right. And I was basically just injuring myself from doing that. So after I tore my meniscus, it was kind of like a big eye opener for me. And it was like, okay, it's not just all hard work. You work smarter, not harder. Feed your body the right things. So I decided, I was like, all right, I'm going to figure out. Well, Nico my coach told me that I needed to see a nutritionist, and I wasn't ashamed. I was like, all right, yeah, I probably do. And then I was very eager to see you, because I knew as soon as I saw you, I was going to put what you told me to work, and I knew that I was going to feel a lot better. I knew that I wouldn't have to overwork as much, and I'd feel a lot more energy throughout the day. I knew that this would help me long term.
Now, what did you think when you first came in? I mean, you come in and tell the listeners what happened and what are some of the things that you walked away with? Your
Oh
immediate
yeah,
thoughts when you left the door
yeah. Yeah, when
and
I
drove
came in, I was like,
away. That
when
girl
I
in the blue room is
oh,
crazy.
I was very upset, man. Whenever I first came in, I was on crutches, of course. So I had that little sympathy card, and then and then I came in at 160 pounds and what was it, like 24% body fat.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I was pretty over. I was way out of shape, really, and I just didn't even realize that I was very fat. Had a lot of fat underneath me. I mean, I thought you even asked if I had a history of diabetics. Like, I thought I was gonna be a diabetic. You know, I was like, oh my gosh, am I a diabetic? And I don't know. Like, I was scared.
Well, because yeah, and just to tell people why is how tall are you, Josh? Tell people how
uh,
tall you are.
6'1" or 6'2". I think I'm 6'2" now. I'm
Yeah,
gonna give myself
I
that.
mean 6'2" and only weighing 160 some odd pounds. On top of it, 24% body fat. So people out there above 20 is excess fat. And what soccer player do you ever see on TV that is 24% body fat? I don't know. It would not be at the Pro League. It would be retirement party somewhere,
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
And I think what I mentioned at that time, it's funny now, he never told me what he was going to say, so it's always amazing to me what people hear I say, what I say and what sticks with you. But some people can store fat more underneath the muscle, so you don't seem like you have that much body fat. So when you
Mhm.
when you store excess fat more underneath the muscle, then that's why you have a propensity, not that you had type 2, or you just have the
Uh-huh.
propensity to go in that direction as you get older, because just imagine between neck and waist, that's where you store, guys
Yep.
store the majority of your fat. Well, okay, it doesn't take rocket science to go, okay, well, where are the majority of my organs that keep me alive? And that's neck and waist. So if so just think about all this fat just pushing along all your organs and going, oh, and I'm supposed to work optimally. But so I'm glad I scared you, I guess, into maybe
Yeah.
thinking you were type 2, but I did, that was not my intention, but I'm glad you shared that. What else did you walk away with when you left? What were you thinking?
I walked away with, I realized my whole life I just didn't know what eating was. Like, I just didn't know what eating right was. You know, I thought if you woke up, you went to McDonald's, you got a couple McChickens, you were like, that was good protein. Like, that's how I really thought. Like, that's as crazy as it sounds. Like, Chipotle was my best meals I ever had, because that's what I thought was the best for you. You know, a little bit of chicken, a little bit of steak, a little bit of rice, and there you go, you're good. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it was just,
And that's
I don't
actually
know.
not too bad, but it's more of what you were doing the rest of the times too,
Yeah. Oh
right?
yeah.
Oh
And
my
then
gosh.
yeah, as snack cakes I took as meals too.
Okay,
I
let's have
mean,
fun with
I'd
this,
eat about
Josh.
1,000.
Let's have fun with this. Before coming in, give the listeners, and like, if you can even remember the old you, what were you eating just roughly? You don't have to tell exact portion
No, I
sizes.
mean,
You know me. Just give a
yeah.
run through of your day. Like, I ate this and that and this and that.
Well,
What
okay.
was it?
So I tell you what, the first time I even showed up to my academy, I brought 30 I thought 30 boxes of snacks. I mean, 4 boxes of fudge rounds, 4 boxes of donut sticks, 4 boxes of Cheez-Its, 4 boxes of animal crackers, everything really. And honey buns and what is it called? What are the oh man, Twinkies. I mean, I was just going crazy, you know, that, and I would eat that every morning. I'd eat a couple Twinkies, couple honey buns, or at night after I was done playing soccer, I'd eat Twizzlers, honey buns, Sour Patch Kids, Skittles. I mean, anything I could get my hands on, really. I ate sweets every day I was there until I
Wow.
got injured. Like, it was crazy.
And then what
Yep.
was kind of your bulk meals? You mentioned McDonald's. Where else? What else?
Uh,
McDonald's, Chipotle, what else?
I mean, Raising Cane's, I burned that place up. And also, like, Cold Stone Creamery because they had ice cream that I hadn't had before. I
Oh, and
really like
that's
that.
really good. I have to
Yeah.
give you went for the good stuff there.
Yeah, no,
There's no chancing on Cold Stone. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, really, well, like, because we had so much free time too, I'd be bored, so we would just
Mhm.
go everywhere really and eat. I mean, just I mean, not the best foods either. Just get some burgers or some fried food, like, because they got a lot of not it's not like franchise restaurants, but just like I guess regular restaurants in Cincinnati. You know, like they're not chained, but they're like family made and stuff.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I've been to a couple of those. Those aren't bad.
Yeah. So you really had I just remember someone telling me before you came in that he goes, I really feel he has unbelievable talent, but his nutrition is really, really, really poor. And if he could put it together, he could probably do amazing things. So you left thinking you were type 2 diabetic, maybe, or something like that.
Yeah.
What else did you remember leaving here after doing, your metabolism and knowing your body fat was 24% for a soccer athlete? What else do you remember?
Well, I remember getting a lot of stick for it, man. I remember I got roasted on every day until I went back to you and got the retest.
Are you
Because
serious?
oh yeah, because everybody was saying, "Oh, you're 24% body fat and all that." Because I told them I wasn't going to be that much, but I was a lot. It's a lot more than what I thought I was going to be. But yeah.
Oh, okay. So then this is what's amazing, because a lot of times when people come to see me, I follow up quite a bit monthly, but you were one. I designed a menu to get started. I know you weren't eating enough, because the muscle sound also said in your muscles that they weren't fueled very well. Even being injured, you weren't eating enough. And the quality, as you have mentioned, I swear, this is what I remember about you, Joshua, is I haven't had someone like you in a very long time where every meal you told me was a freebie. Like, freebies are things like cheats, right? So every meal. Well, I was like, holy cow, I've not heard something like this in a long time. I think you probably had 16 to 20 freebies a day. And I'm telling people one a day.
I know, that's what
or
I'm
7
saying.
a week, or a couple of meals a week. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I have not heard this in a long time.
Yep.
And I put the menu together for you. And what did you think about the menu when you got it? What was helpful and what was challenging?
Honestly, most of it was really, really helpful. Like the only thing I didn't eat really was the guac, like the avocado. Everything else I at least attempted and tried.
Yeah.
Like, and even the supplements they used to provide, like the omega, the vitamin C, D, all that stuff. I still use that too. I mean, I just like it a lot. But what I really liked about the food was that whenever you had asked me what I wanted, I told you what I was actually going to eat, long term, because I knew that's what I was actually going to eat long term. And like the foods that I like, there's a lot of chicken, spaghetti, a lot of vegetables that I like too. Like I like sweet peas and greens. Well, like, what are they called? Green beans. Yep. And corn.
What are they called? Green beans.
And corn. So oh, my
Yeah.
friend is. You know who just called me speaking of the devil?
Who?
Marshall.
Oh, no way. We were just talking about
that's-
Marshall. Marshall came in with Joshua too at the same time. So you're gonna have to tell him to give me a holler when you get off. But
Yeah, I definitely will.
and then what was not much challenging? Was there
No,
things?
it really wasn't, because I had a good mindset. Like I knew I needed to improve. And I knew this was the only way I was going to improve. Like I was tired of being in a standstill, if you know what I mean. Like you can work hard so much, but you can feel like you're getting nowhere, And I feel like I didn't even have to work hard anymore. Like all I gotta do is just eat right, do these things, and that eating right isn't really super hard. I mean, you just got, I don't know. Like I knew it was doing better for me.
Mhm.
So
And
like
I
it
mean, it was
wasn't.
food you like, so I didn't tell you to
Yeah,
eat
it
dirt.
wasn't like
I
super
didn't
hard. The
say,
only thing that did I do have trouble with is eating that much because like
yeah,
I was shocked that my body had burned. I forget how many it burned, 3,500 calories to
yeah,
4,000
it was a
just
lot.
sitting there.
Yeah.
So it's like it sucks because then you got to eat a lot, and it's like,
And it
I
doesn't
mean,
go
sometimes I don't
away.
have sometimes I don't have the appetite,
Mhm.
but I
Otherwise,
definitely like it.
and then what happened when you came back? So you came back, what? Was it 8 weeks later? Was it?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't but 2 months, maybe
Yeah, I
two
think
and
it
a
was.
half.
Yeah, 8 to 10 weeks. And what happened?
I mean, totally changed. What was I came back, what was I, 170 or 180?
No, you were in the 180s. So just so you guys know out there, he was one like 150s or 160, yeah, low 60s, and over 6 foot tall, and his body fat was 24%. Now, just so you know, he was coming off an injury, but you come back literally 8 to 10 weeks later and tell what happened.
I came back and I was 180 pounds,
180, which is
6 foot,
crazy because
still
20
the
some
same
pounds.
hat, still the same height. And then I had what, 10% body fat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
So I
that
went down a whole
insane?
14%.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
And
I was mind boggled whenever you had said 10% because I was thinking I was still 20. Like I thought I shaved off maybe a couple. I didn't even think there was any way.
I could just say, so when people do Bod Pods, you have to wear tighter stuff. And I just was going, when he came back, I could not believe
I know
the
you thought the test was
transformation.
wrong.
I did. I think I did it twice. I did it twice because I cannot believe, I knew the way, you had abs and all of a sudden you have, I was just going, what in the world? And I did the test again. Just, I knew you were lean, but just to hop on the scale in 8 to 10 weeks and being 20 pounds heavier. And then on top of that, for what that really means, you went from we're just going to say you were 160 because we know you were, plus or minus somewhere in there. And then you were plus or minus 180, but I don't know exactly. It was lower 180s. And so that's like 20 pounds. But then you compound this excitement because you went from 24% body fat to 10, which means you put on 30 some pounds of lean weight and you dropped tons of fat. And that never happens. I think I'm still, when I talk to you, Joshua, you could hear it in my voice. I have never had something like that ever happen. People try to sell that, I've had some strength coaches go, oh, you could gain 30, 50 pounds. I'm going, I don't know what you're smoking, because the average male can put on a half to 1 pound of muscle a week if you do the nutrition and training at the same time. And that's usually what I see. I've been doing this 20 plus years, and the most I've ever seen is 1.5 pounds a week. And even, let's say that's 8 weeks, right? So that would have been 12 pounds.
That's crazy.
Right? That's the most I've ever seen. And I was blown by that because I go, wow, 1.5 pounds consistently of lean weight a week. Crazy. But you came back and you put on 30 some pounds of lean weight. So yeah. And you definitely were 10% body fat. I just go, I don't know who you are standing in this room. And your fuel source was so much better. You had come off an injury. So I think some of that was related to that. But I think it's also because your nutrition was 20 plus freebies a day. And then you went into, well, I'm just going to do this. And well, it's good food. I like eating this food. I just didn't realize that just, simple stuff, easy stuff. And then how did you see it transform your game? How did you feel? I mean, how did you, like, your energies? What happened? Because it's always one thing to see changes scientifically. What did you see out there?
Well, it was just like, everything was like, I didn't realize how much I had dragged. like how much I was dragging my body to do things. And whenever I was eating well, it was like I was just like it was like I was clear. Like I just had energy, you know. I wasn't having to search in my body,
Mhm.
mentally prepare for what I was about to do. You know, it was like I was already good to go, clean, ready to like I like there was nothing. I was mentally prepared too, so there was
Mhm.
nothing, you know, keeping me from not excelling. You know, when I think that's been my problem for a long time too. Is I've just been trying to find energy and I haven't been eating right, so it's hard to find energy, you know. But when you just eat right, like just lessen the workload on yourself, you know, make things easier for yourself. So I mean, it made a lot. In every day, I felt so much better continuously while I was eating, and you could see within. Even though I wasn't even doing cardio or anything, I was losing body fat like crazy, you know, because I was
Yeah.
still on crutches. So, I
Yeah.
mean, all it took was just a little lifting of the weights a couple times a week and then eating extremely well and that's it. You know, you don't have to do nothing super strenuous and crazy because I was still injured. Like I wasn't doing anything super crazy in the gym.
Yeah.
It's just your basic stuff, you know. So
Yeah. And I've been watching the world, we had talked about Italy and England playing, so that kind of tells us the time frame of this podcast. And then you got the Olympics and then stuff like that. So, but it's just amazing. You're almost where you need to be. I know we had some other goals, but when you're that lean and that tall, I mean, maybe 190. I feel like you're in a really good, could be in a really good place, or we just fine tuned. But um, what would you like to tell the listeners out there about this process? What if I don't know, like what was your thoughts? I know the coach told you to come in, but what do you think it was? Um, was there any hesitancy? Was there anything that what you thought would hold you back? I don't know.
ab- absolutely not. And I think it's more of being like nervous and scared of what you were gonna say, you know.
Okay.
I already knew how bad my diet was. I knew how bad I'd been eating. And that was what I was searching for. So like I could just searching for ways to get better. And I was just kept like I finally God showed me a different way instead of just working hard. Hey, look, you can just do something else, you know, help
Mhm.
yourself. And I was like, I never really was scared or nervous or anything like that. I was more just like I was more nervous about what you were gonna say because I knew I could change it. Like I knew I was gonna be able to change how I was eating and stuff. I just didn't know how. So that's what I was really wanting to figure out, you know. And I just feel like if you're gonna come to you,
Mhm.
you know, don't just come and do it for a couple weeks, you know. Just do it for like you got to come and do it for a while and really just let it sit and really make sure that when you pick something out, you know, you really want to eat that for a long time and stick to something because and you can also like use things from your diet and add some couple things onto it like that are still good foods. You know, you can figure out what good foods are even like still good, you know, like you can add different good foods in there and not have to eat the same things over and over
Yeah,
again, you know, you get bored, you know.
sure. So you can exchange out
Yeah,
and
over time it gets easier and easier and easier, you know.
yeah. And do you feel like now it's more of a habit than
Yeah,
anything?
yeah, and like I had to learn how to cook and stuff like that. I mean, it's just a lot easier, you
And
know.
it sounds like your benefits, if I hear you correctly, is you said, man, I when I have to do something when it comes to my sport, I feel good. I
Yes.
didn't realize that that lack of energy was mainly from not eating or hydrating properly.
Yep.
And that was the answer.
Yep. And I realized that too. I have a lot more what would it say? I feel like whenever it comes to eating too, I have an advantage almost because I mean, I know a lot. There's a lot of kids in these academies. I know there's a lot of academies out there. I know there's a lot of MLS academies, but
Yeah.
not everybody is eating a diet. Like I know Sporting kind of makes you have a diet plan. Real Salt Lake. I mean, there are a couple big academies that
Mhm.
probably have good diet plans for you. But like here at Cincinnati, I know there's probably only 2 or 3 people that are actually on the diet religiously. Like
Mhm.
there are 100 to 200 kids that still aren't even eating right. So like that gives you an advantage to even perform your best, you know, because if all the kids are basically doing what you're doing, I mean, I know they're still kids. So like they're gonna obviously eat sweets, not do whatever they're supposed to do, you know. So that just gives you an advantage doing all the things you should be doing.
And then I love what you're
Yeah.
saying because you're connecting with it so young. I mean, you're not that old. I mean, you're
Yeah.
not ancient by any means. I mean, you're just on the cusp of teenage years, and you've already connected with it. So just think where your body is now, knowing the things that you know, your longevity, even, or you have so much more energy out there. So your chances, we can always get injured. But
Yep.
if your brain is sharp and you are sharp with your decisions, you're usually less likely to get in a situation that might cause an injury, right? Because
Yep.
sometimes you're tired and you get your foot in there. You
Well,
can't help
yeah,
if
and
your
that's
cleat sticks or something.
yeah,
There's
and that's
just
what
bad
happened with
things
my
that happen.
energy.
Yeah.
I mean, with my injury, not my energy. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's all I was doing. The first time I tore my meniscus, I tore it shooting a ball. Literally, that was it.
Oh,
So I mean, that just shows, you know, my leg was tired. Like my
mhm.
body was just breaking down.
Yeah. And you work so hard. I mean, the one thing you just didn't have the knowledge. Nobody
Yep.
had educated you that it did make a difference. And you had a work ethic that was insane. But you also learned that overtraining doesn't get you there either.
Yep.
Right. So a lot of
Well,
lessons that you've learned really early. If you maximize this year, just think about the next year and the
yes,
year after.
yes,
And
that's
then
what I'm saying, you know.
longevity is something that you absolutely love, right? Like
Yes.
your propensity to play the game that you love and have the opportunity that you've been given, and hopefully it's everything and more that you've aspired to, but now you have the ticket to.
Yes, ma'am.
I love it, that competitive edge, because I bet I'd be really fascinated to know, even at the pro level, how many do the nutrition piece as well. I'm not sure. I've met a lot of pro
Oh
athletes that
yeah.
don't really still understand the nutrition piece too.
Oh yeah.
So,
Well, I know in the NFL you don't have to, you know, because you're not doing crazy. I mean, you're obviously pushing against each other's body weight, but you're not running for long periods of time, so you don't have to really feel your body the way it's supposed to, because you can take breaks. You know, get some water here, get some water there. I mean, basketball too. I'm sure there's a lot that still aren't eating right. I mean, I see a bunch of basketball players all the time, you know, because you can kind of follow people's lives. They kind of tell you what they eat. You know, I mean, you can go on YouTube right now and just look up best high school basketball players and figure out what they eat, you know. And I know a lot of them aren't. It's not, you know, like you said, strict diets. Now, I don't know, for some soccer players I follow do have diets, but like you said, I'm sure there's still a lot that don't, you
yeah,
know. I mean, I'm sure they do a little bit
you're
in
just
one
gonna
little
have to
area.
keep me informed on that, Joshua. I
I
want
definitely will.
firsthand knowledge. I want to get it right from the source, and you can be like, Dawn.
Yeah, I'll definitely let you know.
When I'm
I'll
in Europe,
definitely
I
let you know.
cannot believe what some of these athletes are eating or not eating.
Oh yeah,
So,
and I'm sure that's how it is. You know, I mean, yep, I'm sure that's how it is sometimes.
well, by just finishing, is there anything that you would like to, any advice that you would like to provide the listeners on, this topic or your experience or about the nutrition component?
Well, I would just say, you know, if you really want to change and you really want to, I mean, I guess lose fat, look better, feel better. I mean, just be better all together. Then I would definitely go to Don Weatherwax. I mean, like it was great. You know, you give all the body measurements out, you figure out everything, and then you put a little plan together. And all you gotta do is just follow the plan. It don't take but 2-3 days to get to you. You just go to the store, get the stuff, and just follow it. You know, it's not. And if you have a little
Not
craving,
crazy, huh?
yeah, and if you have a little craving, all right, go eat your little one meal that
Yeah.
day and just don't do it again. You know, because it will not affect you, because eventually all the diet you're taking in will just overflow all the bad meals you eat. You know, I mean, eventually you're just changing the way your body runs. So
I love you. You are a blast. You know I'm going to be asking you back. So
Oh, that's
um,
totally fine.
I know I can't wait when you go pro. And they'll be like, "Oh gosh, Josh, remember that first interview we did?"
Oh yeah.
But obviously there's so you got the cream of the crop as far as the foundation, and there's so many layers to go, especially the higher up you go, just little
Yeah.
tricks and trinkets and tools. But I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to do this with me today and to share your story and just to being honest. And it was a lot, it's been a lot of fun, and I hope the listeners get encouraged about this process. I have to say though, as a disclaimer, I cannot promise if you come in my doors that you will gain 30 pounds of lean weight in 2.5 months and go from 24% body fat down to 10 because of the plan. Joshua's body was amazing. I think his nutrition was so poor that the minute it got what it needed, it just said, "Thank you. I've been
Yeah.
waiting for this," right? And it just
Yeah.
flourished. And you embraced the whole process like it was nothing. Because I will share with you, I get a lot of athletes that don't do what you just said. They like to come up with excuses and they don't. To me, then I know things can be tough. And I
Yep.
know things can be hard. And I know the process can take other people's longer. And that's fine. But some people just give up and they just want to go back to old habits, which again, I think as if you get 4,000 to 4,500 calories a day, you can eat a lot of good stuff because you're talking
Yeah.
spaghetti and ground meatballs, but then you put some olive oil with marinara, and then you put broccoli or some
Yeah.
vegetables,
And you can throw on so much stuff.
right?
So much. Yeah.
So you're going, well, I like that, Dawn, and it was
Well,
just
yeah.
3 times better than going to eat Canes, which is, and I'm not
Uh-huh.
anti-Canes, but it's your freebie meal once or twice a
Yeah.
week because you know it's 50% fat because all you are is eating fried foods with buttered bread and their dipping sauce. And again, I'm not saying it doesn't taste good. I'm just saying it's not ideal to do that all the time.
Yep.
And it was fabulous of your outcome. So I really hope this motivates other people just to try. But I also have to let you know that you get a lot of credit because you came in and you embraced the process and you dove right in and you go, I can do this. And that's amazing. And you didn't even really have a lot of if you're living with your coach. This is not like you went home and your mom and dad embraced the whole process with you. It was, I'm staying at my coach's house and I have to embrace this. And if I have questions, you could ask me or you could talk to them. But you really embraced a lot of this on your own. And that's pretty amazing.
Yes, ma'am. I'm very grateful.
Oh,
I'm just grateful that you showed me this. I mean, a really amazing opportunity. And I'm also, well, you were talking about with the food, like you said, when you eat like better foods, you're filled for a lot longer too. You don't have that urge to go eat something right after you just ate. You'll be filled for a while. So you really lose those urges and cravings pretty quick once your stomach's just full all the time.
well, I can't wait to see what you're going to do, kiddo. And I can't wait to see you back in my office in about make sure you reach out and, when you get back into town. And
Definitely will.
It's been wonderful. So for the listeners out there, I hope you enjoyed this as much as I have. This is Dawn Weatherwax, the host of Feed for Speed and the owner of Sports Nutrition to Go. Have a great and healthy day because a better you definitely means a better world.